Hey, welcome again. Gosh, I love coming aboard with you. That's why we call it All Aboard Wisdom. You could call it boarding a train, boarding this, boarding that. But you know what? It's really important to get out of our own little zone where we're always at and board something. So I call it the Wisdom Train, and I think it's really great to have you with me today. I'm going to hit on some, the topics are very diverse as they're supposed to be. They're meant to be. They are meant to be. They are not supposed to be lame ducks or boring or anything such as that. And this Greek girl, and that I am very proud of that I am a Greek girl. Um, I like to share wisdom, and that's what Greeks do. Wisdom, knowledge, that was the big learning center, ancient Athens, So I'm just continuing the heritage that's going on. So today, I want to talk to you about something all of us either are having an issue with, we have had an issue with, or we're really needing and wanting to do something about. And it's about overeating. So we're going to call it overeating. I'm going to call it overeating because it's causing us a lot of problems today. It's not, oh, well, that my little waistband is getting too tight. It's not that, oh, my clothes are getting too snug. No, it's not about that. It's really a much deeper issue. And I can tell you that during stress periods in my life, and I'm not going to go into the details with you because that's my business of is what this is all about. At different times, I really packed it on pretty good. And just remember one thing, and this is something I'm teaching people. Every pound that we put on, every pound, and I swear to you, this is the truth. I know this because I used to teach this. I looked into it for myself, and I can't tell you all the people that get all better with their eating issues, because think about this. Every pound is like a brick, a brick that you put on a fireplace, a house, whatever. Every pound is a brick with someone's name attached to it. Every pound that you're putting on, you're packing on, you're slapping on, and building this wall and this and fat. By the way, fat, we have to call it a little bit of weight. No, it's called fat. Fat sells fat. Okay, and I can call it that because I was fat. I had really put it on a lot. I really got up there to the point that I was having terrible back pains. I was having all kind of issues. Had to have a heating pad on me, pain patches. Oh my gosh, couldn't walk really long, and none of those things even exist once I got it off. Now, we're not here to talk about me, even though don't listen to somebody who's going to give it advice if they're twiggy and they weigh 70 pounds or something. Listen to somebody who's actually beat the battle and will continue to do it, because it has to be a continuation of things that you're doing. But back to what I was saying, every pound that we put on, it has someone's name attached to it and a situation. So when you get on your scale and you look, I don't agree with that. Oh, only once a week, once every 2 weeks, get on the scale. Honey, I'm sorry. I get on it first thing in the morning. I do the morning tinkle thing, like we all have to do the morning tinkle, unless we're some, magnificent person. And then I go jump up on the scale. But I do know that every pound has a person's name or a situation attached to it. And you could see when it starts compounding, if it is compounding and you're adding it on and packing it on, you stop right then and realize, and actually get a little journal and notebook going. What is the topic? Who's this attached to? What's the name of the person and the situation? It might even be the place you're in, where you're living, where you're working. Anyway, we're going to jump off of that because I want to go into some other stuff that's really deeper than what most people ever will go into, but I will go into it because I'm Roxy. I've done talk radio. I bring up topics no one else wants to talk about, and they are jaw-dropping answers. So I want to talk about when we eat. Now, I want to compare it to, now, what's a real big thing these days? When you go and you buy jewelry, you see pictures for the wall, all these things. It's called the tree of life. I know that's a big thing that you see around. It's very, very popular right now, the tree of life. Now, if you really go, what is the tree of life? That was in the Garden of Eden. God puts this tree of life in the Garden of Eden, and Adam and Eve, these first two people that he makes, are supposed to, quote, quote, they are supposed to go and live forever and ever and be healthy and strong and all this stuff, as long, here's the little codicil agreement, the small print, as long as they daily go to the tree and they eat from that tree of life. Now, when Adam and Eve goofed up, screwed up, messed up, did the apple thing, whatever is an apple fruit, whatever it was, they say it was apple. We'll call it the apple. Okay. Anyway, when they disobeyed, they did whatever they did. They had a temptation and a hunger. Adam and Eve, they grew a temptation and a hunger for this one tree. It was just one lousy little tree and it had a little, we'll call it a picket fence around it or whatever. It had a keep out sign. God says you can eat anything in this garden you want, but the tree of life, if you want to live forever and ever, never feel sick, feel ducky fine, you want to feel wonderful, you stay pretty cute and all that little stuff going on, you'll feel wonderful. But whatever you do, do not eat from the tree. Well, human nature has this thing going on. You call it devil, Satan, negativity, evil, whatever. But that other tree finally got the better of them. Now, let's just say you were eating healthy, you were doing really well, that you're eating from the tree of life, you were doing good, and all of a sudden, this other tree, I call it the yummy tree, the yum yum tree comes up, and all of a sudden, boy, does it look good. Oh, it looks good. You know all the stuff that you buy with all the flavoring and all these pretty colors in it, those artificial dyes, I guess they cause disease, cancer, sugar diabetes, all these other things, stuff they don't even know, what else they're doing on you. But it's it's very tasty and yum yum looking. I call it from the yum yum tree. So we start to overeat because we're going to say, I've already eaten off that other tree. It gets a little boring to some people. I eat from the tree of life. I've been eating really well all my life. It can't hurt. It's exactly what Eve said. She sucked down the apple, then gets Adam, stuck it in his mouth. Come on, take a bite, swallow. And anyway, what happens? It was called the forbidden fruit. Now, she did not die right away. Like I said, if you eat this, you'll die. So when she didn't die, and so when you eat a bunch of crappy food, when you start eating a bunch of stuff, the no-no food, the yummy food, all that stuff, oh, the pretty colors in it, all the dyes, all the sugar, all this stuff, we're going to call that the forbidden tree. Okay, so the tree of life is what you started with, having breast milk, having good formula, having good baby food, Gerber, all that good stuff you had. Well, somewhere along the line, you ran into this other tree and it started looking really good to you. So this is where overeating comes in. This is my Roxy version of it. I'll probably write a book on it. I already write books, but I'm going to write probably a book on this. I think it's really cool. It popped into my head today about 2 hours before I taught this. I'm going to be teaching this to you today. So what do I come up with? I'm looking at a couple things up here. We overeat from it. It looks tasty. And what the big thing is, it is forbidden. Isn't it something when it's forbidden? Oh, that looks good. It's forbidden, huh? Maybe I can indulge in it. Here's the problem. When you indulge in something forbidden, when you indulge in something, the no-no thing, the yummy tree, I don't care what it is. Okay, it's exciting. It's exciting, right? It will always, the first step that happens is it's very addictive to you. Wow, I want to go back for some more. The second thing is that when you don't get it, emotionally, when you don't get it, whatever the thing is that you weren't supposed to really indulge in, but you think, oh, that was so good. I don't care if it's ice cream, then you put, whipped cream, then you put nuts, then you put this. They say, oh, that tastes so much better with three things of sugar instead of that. Let's put the heavy cream in the coffee. Let's do this. I'm just using a few things that we all have done in our life, okay? So the thing is, we actually start to become an emotional slave to those things. So if we were eating from the tree of life, the things that the creator said, things that grow from the earth, the things that are healthy for us, the things by the way, everything in our body that he created was in the earth because he made us from the earth. Okay. And everything that our body needs. And if we don't get what is put back in that comes out of us, then we are going to replace them with the yummy tree, the junk, the sugar, and all these other stuff that we're doing, artificial sugars. So anyway, that's just a few of the things. I'm just kind of just checking out a couple little things I have here. Somebody told me don't have notes in my hand. I'm going to always like notes. I'm Greek. Us Greeks have notes in our hands. We have little paper stuck all over. Somebody said don't do that. So I'm just going to look over here at my little tricky board that I'm kind of deciding I'm going to use. So anyway, so what happens is, What would I say happens when we keep doing this, when we keep eating stuff that's not good for us, or then overeating it? See, when you start eating something that's not good for you, you're going to have a craving. You're going to have a craving. You're going to have a hunger. You're going to start hoarding it. You're going to want it. I need. You are going to start, actually, here's the big word. I'm going to prefer this over what's normal. I'm going to prefer this over what's normal. There's a lot of people got into some really deep pornography, and we're not talking pornography right now. We're talking about eating. They had normal sexual, whatever they had, whatever the norm is, the things God puts this with that, and, that fits together with this, the right bone's connected to the left bone, the left arm, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden they get a taste of something else. And now there's a emotional addiction and yearning. I got to go back and have another one of those. I got to have some more. So when it comes to sexuality and emotions or eating, they are equally very, 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 very similar emotions. And you're going to keep wanting to go back for more and more and more, and even add a little more this, that, and the other to it. And then it becomes an addiction. And then I got to have it. I must have it. I must. So when you go to get off of these things that are making you, bloated, and then from bloated, then we go into, oh, I'm so full, but we just keep shoveling. Oh, I got to eat what's on the plate. I got to lick it. I got to have an extra this. I got to have an extra that. You see, and then we're going to go in from all that to bloated to full to chubby. And then we just think, oh, I can't hurt. I want to be comfortable, go get a bigger shirt, a bigger pair of pants and all that. And I remember the best thing, and I was really mad at my husband when he said it to me years ago when I started going through some stress over some stuff that was going on in life. It wasn't my own stress. It was created for me by some of the people in my life. And I came and I started wearing, came home and I had this dress that was much bigger. And his exact thing he said to me was, well, honey, what's that, Shaw tent and awning? I said, what did you just say? He goes, well, it kind of looks like Shaw tent and awning. I've never seen you anything wear that tight. You usually wear things that fit nice. I mean, all of a sudden, and I didn't know what to say. Well, somehow, don't ask me how it happened, but I kept growing and growing, and then you can hide it under these bigger clothes and yada, yada, yada. So these things that we are having that are from this forbidden tree, we'll call it from, and the things that are introduced to us, then those are the only things that you can become addicted to. You cannot become addicted to anything from the tree of life. Something that's healthy, you really aren't going to be addicted to salad. You aren't going to be really addicted to blueberries. You're not going to OD on these things. But boy, so you want to call it, the negativity gets a hold of us and it's a drug to our body. And then we all of a sudden are slaves to it. We just like we have blinders on. I must have. And then whatever happens. So let's look at another stage 2 or 3. Well, what happens when you start taking all these chemically induced things into your body, artificial this, artificial that. I had to go in for something called neuropathy where my toes were getting numb a little bit, and some stuff going on. And they go, you know what that's coming from, right? And I go, well, you know what the big one is? No, I really don't know what it's coming from. And they said it's from the artificial sweeteners, especially one particular one. When you're saying, I don't get the sugar, I don't hit the calories, but when I'm taking in this artificial sweeteners, they're putting in stuff. Well, guess what? It's causing nerve damage and your nerves die. And then you start having neuropathy and all these other issues with. So the point is, that's one thing. The other thing is, once you eat these bad things for you so long, and they are so good and tasty. Oh my God, I need another scoop. I need another shot of this, a whipped cream. I need more. Need, must have. And we just can't stop ourselves. We're literally become junkies and addicts. I was one of those things. Okay. And so was my husband. I mean, we were into obese. Okay. And it's no shame because it happens to a lot of people. But I'm bringing this to our attention so we could do something about it, because the shows here I do on my podcast are for all of us. It's not me that I'm now slimmed down a lot. I can be talking. No, I'm telling you, I have been from heavy to big, to big, to big, to big, to even bigger, to big, to whatever. And it took my husband to actually have to be told that he had really blood pressure. It could have blown. He didn't even have a symptom. And, oh yeah, by the way, you got diabetes. Well, he corrected both within 7 months by changing what he ate. And we didn't starve. We didn't go take shots. We didn't do that. We basically went and started eating healthy, because the option is you are going to end up having to take drugs, and the drugs you take will have side effects. And again, now you already ate bad, and then you're going to have to take drugs with all the side effects so you feel better. So you're becoming a slave to your life, and you don't start feeling very well. Now, a lot of things happen. Your memory starts to go when you're on all these different drugs. The side effects are very, very scary. Like they even say, you ever watch some of the stuff, you eat too much of something or other, it sets up a rash. Well, you won't have the rash anymore, but then you can get like, lymphoma, you could go blind, you can grow a brain tumor, but you will not have that freaking rash. Did you get what I'm saying? So it's coming to a point where I would love everybody to say, you know what? Nobody's going to come to save you. You got to want to save yourself. I had to want to save myself. And I decided to save myself because I sat in every doctor's appointment with him. And whatever they told him, I followed the same procedure that they told somebody that had ready to blow blood pressure and full-blown diabetes. And neither one of us have either of those things. And he don't even have to take a pill for it. None of it anymore. Because you finally say, I'm getting real. And getting real is very, very important. Okay. Now, why do people overeat? What is that? Two things that I'm going to talk about them in other podcasts. But one, I'm going to be point blank, your childhood. If you think that doesn't have a lot to do with it, there are a lot of people who call themselves parents, and they are parents because they gave birth to you and a man and woman got together. They made a baby, okay? Your parents, maybe many times, maybe a house full of kids are hanging off the chandelier. You got one. But these people are going to take a shortcut. Now the kids are here. They're really a lot more involved than they expected that it was going to be. So here, we're just going to throw a hot dog in the microwave. Here's some greasy chips. Go eat a bunch of French fries. Just go eat some ice cream. Have one of those soft ice cream things. Oh, aren't those yummy? Go do this, go do that. And when they go to the grocery store, if you look in some of the buggies, they are just full of junk food. And it's to keep the kids quiet while they're watching TV or a movie so you get peace of mind, but you're the one who wanted to go have them. Also, your children, if you think they're not watching what you're eating, if you're shoveling, your children are going to be shoveling. If your children are observing more than you are aware of, they are shoveling food and they're doing what mom and dad does. So when they say, oh, there's a fat gene in the family or there's this in the family. No. Do you know that most diseases and everything else are the children are doing what they see the parents doing? Monkey see, monkey do. And they didn't even realize, and maybe the parents did this and the parents did this. But in the past generations, the food wasn't as toxic and all these chemicals and everything else in it. Today, if we don't start to eat better, if we don't pull the emergency brake on ourselves, do you really want to go in and say, oh, you are you're diabetic. Oh, your blood pressure is ready to explode. Or, hey, you're going to be crippled because you've got a lot of chronic stuff. I think one of the worst things that can happen, and it is the worst thing that can happen. It's so common today. It's everywhere you look. I call it the C word. I don't like the word cancer. It's prevalent. It's crazy. It's off the chart. And a lot of it didn't just pop up one day. It came from what you were eating and drinking, what you're eating and drinking and breathing. Now, it's usually now from what you're eating and drinking, what you're washing all that garbage down with. I mean, do you ever think what your body, it don't even know what to do with all these chemicals, but your body's so happy that it's got all these chemicals that it just figures, oh, I don't care. I'll do something next week, or I'll cut back next week. Well, the worst thing is when you go in and they tell you got the C word, or I'm going to use that word I really dislike with a passion, cancer. You just went from basic problems because you were eating bad, you were drinking bad things. Now that we're going bad. We're not slapping you anything bad. It's just that either you got carried away, you got addicted to this stuff. You don't know how to stop. It's like driving a car, you don't have brakes, okay? And you can go from that to, well, I'm addicted to it. Okay, I can't. I tried, I can't. And then you go into chronic. And then chronic means that you are having to take some kind of medicine or some kind of drug or something because you hurt, you ache, all these things because you've been putting too much food and chemicals and junk in your body. The last step is that you go terminal. And then they got to put chemicals in you to try to kill the cancer and the cells and all the disease. So I want you to understand, we've really ventured off a lot from the two trees. It really all started out biblical time. There was the tree of life, and then there was the tree of no. It was called the forbidden tree. And when Adam and Eve started gorging on that tree, by the way, I want to bring this up. This is very interesting. When they started gorging on the tree, do you know they actually went and hid from God? They hid it. They went and hid. They were hiding behind a bunch of like trees and stuff, making like leaves covering themselves and all this. And he goes, "Why are you hiding from me?" And I want you to think about this. This is the big thing. And I'm going to not go any more too deep into this today, but I want you to think about it. Isn't it true? And I did it. I don't know anybody who don't do it. When you start eating, and if you say, I'm on a diet, don't go on a diet. You have to have a life change, okay? But when you are eating all these things, you're hiding it. You're doing just what Adam and Eve did. They're hiding it. I'm hiding the ding dong, the cupcake, the chips, the this, the that, the candy bar. I mean, it's like the alcoholic or the smoker. You got it all over the place hidden, just like a little squirrel. You're going to have all these nuts hidden all around so you can munch on them. And then it's an embarrassment. You think, I'm hiding it. No, I'm not. Then you become a liar. So I want you to understand all the addictions that come from this, that it's really, and it is, it's like, it's that tree that is forbidden and nobody is going to come save you. You have got to say to yourself today, I'm done with this. You don't go into self-loathing. You don't hate yourself. You don't grab a roll of fat and the jiggly this and that. You don't ever go into self-loathing. That is a no-no. That'll set you down even further on the ladder. You have to say, I am going to fall in love with myself, not egotistical. You know what you're saying? Here's the thing that woke me up, and I deal with a lot of clients, and I tell them this. The key thing I say is, I won't do that to me anymore. If this is my vehicle and this is the only one I have to get around on the planet, so if you're given one car, one vehicle, and that's the only one you're going to have, honey, you better take care of it because it's the only one that we have. If it's sick, if it's this or that, one of my kids' friends, he was just like, I don't know, 30 some years old, maybe pushing 40, something like that, because of the way he was eating and everything else. They've been cutting his toes off. This poor kid, he's losing his toes. Somebody else is losing a leg. Somebody else, I mean, it's just terrible what's happening. And they're finding all diseases in the body. And it's all because we will not pull the emergency brake on ourselves. And then the thing is the worst, doing the Adam and Eve thing. It hasn't really progressed that far since Adam and Eve in the garden. Now we go hide it. We're like little squirrels. We're hiding it here. We're hiding it there. Oh, I'm not eating anything. Or we put on a panty girdle and suck it in. Don't I look like I'm losing it? So I'm just saying we've got to quit lying to ourselves. A lot of it comes up in our childhood. It's also the emotions in our childhood. We're going to talk about that. Another big one that I'm going to bring up, and it's nothing against mothers because I'm a mother. Any child that's been born in this world right here has had a mother, but it's a lot of what we were marinating in when we were in our mother's body for that 9 months, the kind of thoughts she was thinking, the kind of emotions she was experiencing, and that umbilical cord, it wasn't just a food tube. We were also being passed through her emotions, her feelings about things. And when we're born, we come into life with some of her stuff that she experienced, the things she felt that were going through her, and we're bringing them into our life. And then we carry them into our life. And then we self-destruct as we become older. So just remember, there's a lot of reasons for what we do, but it all goes back to the core of when we were children. And by the way, even if a child, and this is for all of you, even if you have a child and you think, oh, they aren't listening to my phone calls, they're in there watching a cartoon, or they're laying on the floor, they're coloring, they're not paying attention. The eyes and the ears, children's eyes, their little eyes and their ears never shut off. There's always an audible and a visual recording going. Everything they have ever heard, everything they have ever seen, if they're not even in the room right there, they're seeing it, they're hearing it, it's going into their think tank. And if you think that's not going to be affecting them as they get older, it's not to blame mom, it's not to blame dad, but it's for us to start being way more cautious, because a lot of what the children are going through, we're going through, all these things, and we're suffering with this overweight and eating bad food and everything. It does go back many, many years. So you don't ever say, please don't ever say, oh, that was a long time ago, or I don't remember, or that was a long time ago, because that's where the story began. So please keep tuning into my podcast. We're going to do some jaw-dropping, big jaw-dropping topics I'm going to throw some stuff out to you. You make your own decisions what you want to do with it. But I'm giving you a lot of facts like I did with the radio and TV shows. And I'm back doing it today because there's a really big need for this. So, what I want to say to you in closing is if this was helpful to you, if it made you think, if it's tweaked something in your brain, these shows are to tweak something so you quit being a sleeper and sleeping your way through just life. And just would you hit share? That means, share it with your friends. But mostly, if you liked it, hit like. Also, if you would just hit subscribe, that shows that we're going to be able to do a lot more of these and it's going to be getting out. And YouTube, it's worldwide. Think of all the people you're playing a role in helping others, because for every person who hears this, the ones who wake up and they pay attention and they change their behaviors, they change their thinking, you're part of their success. So have a great day. Get ready for my next podcast. Thank you to all coming to my All Aboard Roxy M. Carter, and we'll see you at the next ones. I got so much planned to talk to you about. Have a great one. Bye.